So tons of questions about the Montblanc 149 Calligraphy Flex Nib. A lot of people have been asking, how does the nib hold up over time, over use, and can it be used for daily writing? Now, I did the review of this pen almost a year ago, this pen. So we can look at the wear and tear on this. This has been inked every single day, and it has been carried every single day since that review. So it's held up pretty well. Just normal wear and tear. You can see some scuffs on the gold trim of the clip. There are, you know, it's like micro scratching on the resin body, but it is just normal wear and tear. Nothing, you know, nothing significant. There's no gouges. The most notable wear and tear is the sticker. The sticker used to be the loop that you see on the nib, and I left it stickered, of course, but the design is mostly gone. So that is the most noticeable piece of wear. Other than that, everything looks really good. So the piston is still smooth and functional. Here is that nib. So that's the loop that's on the sticker. And sorry, I'm trying to get an angle that's not gonna blind you with light. Blinded by the light. People were also really upset that I didn't clean the nib off last time in the review. I just, you know, you're inking and writing and try not to knock things over, so here we are. It's kind of clean this time. So the nib is looking really good. I don't see any stress marks on it. You know, the breather hole looks pretty good. And if we look at it from the side, you know, it's still looking good. So that's not a gap, that's just the light reflecting. So it stayed on the feed quite well. And yeah, it's pretty impressive. So I'm very pleased with it so far. And I know you can get a vintage Montblanc with a flexible nib, and it's not going to cost the same amount as this one, and that's perfectly fine. I was just curious how Montblanc would do with a new one, and I think they've done really well. So I've used a couple of these pens now from others, from friends and stuff, and in my experience so far, they've all performed well. And none of them have been tuned or adjusted. They were just out of the box like that. So maybe I'm lucky. I don't know. I've heard a couple, I read a couple comments on my last review that it was misleading because theirs didn't perform as well. But I mean, you know, that's the nature of doing a review on one item, although now I've used several. You know, that I do the best that I can, so if yours doesn't perform as well, I would suggest you either send it to a Nib Meister or take it back to Montblanc and have it replaced, and they can fix it for you. So I've left this open for a while now, so let's see how it does. Okay. Okay, so let me find an angle that's a little more comfortable for myself, okay? So this is the, I have no idea why I did that. I'm sorry. This is the Meisterstück 149. Sorry, my hand is still shaky. This is the so stupid. The Calligraphy Flex. So if you're wondering how I'm creating these lines, very light pressure. The nib is pretty soft. So, like light pressure, okay? The thing is, to get this nib to last, do not flex it to the maximum that you feel it can handle. I would say, like on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is just like, I'm putting like a 3 of pressure on this nib. So it can actually the tines can spread much more than I'm showing, but the thing is, just because it can do it doesn't mean you should write with it like that, right? So, okay, see, that's how horribly shaky my hand is, sorry. So the thing is, this is like a Western fine. Now I'm gonna just write with absolutely no pressure, just so you can see that this is totally a nib you can use every day for writing if you don't even want to flex it. Okay, so let's write hello Jello. It's actually a really, really nice writer without pressure. Performs super well, no skips, no hard starts. It's just I don't know, I really, really like it. Like, I don't know if I lucked out. Oh, there was a tiny skip, sorry. Right there. I wouldn't even worry about that. Like, I don't know. I think it's fantastic. So this is all regular writing, no pressure. Because it's a fairly wet writer, you can see that I'm getting some shading with the ink anyway, like there's some ink pooling. So let's do juicy. Let's do bouncing, and then kumquats. So what do you think? Like, pretty awesome, right? That's pretty amazing. It's just, it's so easy to use. And it's performed so well in the time that I've had it, and it has not let me down. Now, it is a big pen. I do find it a bit girthy, so, you know, if you have smaller hands, take that into consideration. I mean, oh, I'm too zoomed in, sorry. There we go. So, it's not that it's a really long pen, it's that it's the girth, right? The girth can be difficult for some people's grip. And it does post, but I mean, I don't post it. So if we do that one more time, let's do this, shall we? Oh, no, wrong way. Okay. That's no pressure, no pressure, no pressure. I'm going to slowly start adding pressure. Like, honestly, it can go further than this, but I'll do it once or twice. See, like, I wouldn't even go that far. So the nib does give resistance, like you can feel it when you're pushing it. So this is definitely the comfortable range for this nib to flex. And it does snap back pretty well. So you know, like, so it doesn't, it's not going to compare to a dip nib. It's not going to compare to, you know, like a vintage Waterman that has a wet noodle. But it's a really nice daily writer. So, like, ain't that pretty? Okay, so let me zoom out, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to write the ink name up here because you might be curious what it is. The ink is the new, stupidly expensive, but very pretty, the Elixir ᵐᵘŒŒ, and this is called cobalt green. All right, let's switch the angle so you can see what it looks like from the side.